Hi everyone. CRUD or Create, Read, Update and Delete is an essential part of any web development project. Whether you are building an admin dashboard, managing customer data, or just need basic data manipulation. And in this series, I will show you how to do it in the Blazor with .NET 8. Not only that, we are adding an Excel import and export feature all within a single page. We'll be using a Mud Blazor for our UI framework, and of course, SQL Server for storing our data with Entity Framework Codeverse. If you are interested in getting the source code for this project, be sure to check on description below for all details on how to access it. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated in this channel, and let's start this series. Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. Now we are on the part 1, building CRUD feature for ASP.NET Blazor. Let's start by open our Visual Studio application. I'm using Visual Studio 2022 in here. We can just create a new project and then select the Blazor web application, or you can search Blazor. Okay, this one, Blazor web app. Double click and name your project. For me, I just put simple CRUD. Okay, and leave the other and then click next. Okay, in here I'm using .NET 8 and then we are not using any authentication type, and in here I'm using an interactive render mode as server, and leave the rest. I just create in here. Okay, now we have our Blazor project. First, let we remove the component that we will not use. Like on the pages, we will not using the counter in here. It's just a demo. We also remove the weather. Okay, the error we can keep like this. And then for the layout, I'm not using a nav menu in here. And for my layout, there is some component I will update, so yeah, we can keep it for now. And we can open the Nugget Package Manager, this one, and then we can install. Go to the browse and search for the Entity Framework Core. What you need to install is this one, Entity Framework Core. I install, accept it. Now it's installed, and then we are going to install the SQL Server in here, Microsoft Entity Framework Core SQL Server, and then also Microsoft Entity Framework Core Tools. Okay, I accept, and we can close it now. I believe we only need 3 of this component. I can close it. I think it's okay to close all also, because now we are going to have a new folder in here. We name it as a data access. Any database relation on this project, we will put into this folder, like entity, application DB context, sheet the data, anything related to database. And now we are going to have another folder for entities. Actually, for this project, we only have one entities or one table, but it's okay. We keep as a subfolder in case you want to modify this project. You can just put another entity in here. And then I have a new class. I name it as an employee. Okay, I zoom a bit. What we will have here is we will have public integer of employee ID get set, and then okay, employee name. I think this is autocomplete by Visual Studio, but I prefer full name. And then I duplicate and put department, and then I duplicate again. This one is date time and date of birth. And the next we will have an integer of age and string of phone number. Okay. In this project, as a sample scenario or sample case, we are going to have an employee management system. So we can add new employee data, edit new employee data, and remove employee data. If you want to try play around with this data or property in here, you can add any property as you want, and then it will be converted into column in database. But I prefer only using this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 column. It's okay. And then the employee ID will be foreign key in our table. Make sure you have ID behind the property name, and Entity Framework will automatically detect that employee ID is primary key. In example, you want to have employee number in here. Entity Framework will not detect any primary key in this table. So what you need is you need to indicate key in here. So the Entity Framework will detect that this is a primary key. But I ignore it. I just undo. I prefer employee ID. And then what we need to have now is application DB context. Create a new class. Okay, name it as a app DB context. Add. We will inherit from a DB context. Context, yeah. Need reference, I think. Okay, need reference from DB context using Entity Framework core. Make sure we already install it. And then I need to have a constructor. Oh, by the way, what I click is Ctrl and dot, or you can right click and click this one, quick action and refactoring. And then I will generate the constructor with options here. Okay. And then we will have a table here, DB set employee and employees. Okay, nice. And then better we override the on model creating. Okay, we will use this later for our dataset. Just leave it for now. And the next we will have a connection string to connect to our SQL server. So we'll have a connection strings. Okay, nice. I use this one. And then I name it as a default connection. You can name it as you want actually. I just prefer this. And what we will have here is a server equals to local host / SQL Express. Okay. And then database equals to what database we want to set, yeah, simple CRUD. And then we need to have this one, trusted connection is true and trust server certificate is true. Maybe we standard to lowercase true, and this one capital. Let me see. Okay, this is address to our SQL server in local, and then this is the database that we want to create. If you still not create yet in your database, that's fine. It will automatically create it. But if already have, that's okay too. And then we save it, and then we can close it. Now we go to the program.cs, and we need to include the application DB context in here, service, add DB context. Name it the DB context we create before, this one, application DB context. Application DB context. And then it will be need reference to using simple CRUD data access. And then options. Options, use SQL server because we are using SQL server. And then builder configuration get connection string, and it will accept the connection string name. Oh, I already closed it. This one, default connection, I copy and I paste it into here and need to close, I think. Okay, this one should be closed also. Okay, now we need to synchronize this into our database. So what we will have is we need to go to the tools, Nugget Package Manager and Package Manager console. It should be in here. And then we need to create a migration. Add migration, initialization, and then the output directory will be on the data access slash we need a new folder, name it as a migrations, and then enter. Okay, now the migration is created. If you are not familiar with this kind of things, this is a Entity Framework Codeverse. In Entity Framework Codeverse, anything we want to do in our database, we do it from code. Like this, we are creating a table with this description of columns, all we define from our code in here. So we should not modify our database structure, table structure directly from database, but instead we will keep tracking the change in our Visual Studio project in here. So as you see, we just creating this entity and then we do the migration creation and we will have this migration. It should be under migrations, and yeah, this one we can see. No, it's still not complete because we need to synchronize to our database. So what we should have now is update database and enter. Nice, now it's success. If you check to your database, I open SQL Server Management Studio. And in here, I try to refresh. Yeah, this is my previous project. I just refresh it. Nice, now I able to see the database of SimpleCRUD with the table of employees in here. We can see the column also. Okay, nice. Now the table is created. And one more thing we need to have is dataset. So dataset is like a data sample for helping us develop this application. So looking like a real application more, instead of we adding data manually one by one. And how to achieve the dataset is we can just go to the application DB context. And in here we will going to generate our sheet. I think, but instead we will have another class lah for this. So just prepare in here, model builder, generate sheet, and close it. And that's fine. It will be error because we will have the function in data access, add, and class. We name it as sheet and enter. And what we will have here is a public static class of sheet, and then public static void generate sheet that extending the model builder and model builder. This means it's extending the application DB context model builder, this one. Now we can see the error is gone. And we need to have our sheet in here. We will have a var employee as a new array. And then we will have new employee, okay. And then employee equals to 1. The full name is sample, yeah. And then what? Department is what? Example sales. And then date of birth, we need to having a new date time. Example, this 100, 107. And then 06 is fine. This one is year, month, and day. And the next age, I just put 24 for example. And for number, yeah, the sample. Okay, I minimize it a bit, zoom out I mean. And close it. And close it, yeah. 2 more times and close. Okay, this one is sheet that we will adding to our database. This is sample data that will access in our database when we do development. I have a list of sample data you can download from description if you want. And in here, I just copy it and paste it here. You can, if you don't want to use my sheet data, is okay. You can type by your own. But if you want to use, you can download the description. It's free. And I just paste it. Nice. This is list of the data. Actually, this is list of my early subscriber for this channel. Thank you for everyone in here. So yeah, now we can minimize it. And then it's not complete because we need to include it for each employee in employees. Oh, this one should be employees. Model builder, entity, employee, and we need to have hash data, that employee. So for each employee in this array, we will include it into employee table in here. And by this should be fine. And we need to have another migration whenever we creating a sheet data. So add migration, this one sheet data, and we no need to indicate the folder again because it's already automatically. Only first time we need to do that. So I just enter. Nice. This is all the sheet we need to have. And then update database. Nice. There is no error. If we check in database and I try to right click and select the data, now I can see list of our employee. For this part of initialization, I think it's complete. Stay tuned for the part 2. You can see on description for the part 2 link, or this should be on the playlist after this part complete. So yeah, maybe any question you can ask below and I will answer your question. So thank you for watching and bye-bye.
Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. We are on part 2 in building CRUD feature for ASP.NET Blazor. And we will using the Math Blazor for showing our data from database. In previous part, we already initialized our Blazor project and the database. We also doing a seeding from our data. Anyway, this sheet of data is a list of my early subscriber to this channel. Okay, so thank you for all in this person. And the next thing we will to do in this part is integrating with the Math Blazor. But first, let we add the source control here. I'm using Git for this. Okay, local only is fine. And then create. So by this, I have a checkpoint that what I do in previous part. Okay, nice. I can close it. And this is the Math Blazor. You can go to the page mathblazor.com and we can get started here. What we need to have is we need to install the Math Blazor and then add this to import. Maybe let we try do one by one. I put here manage the package and we search for the Math Blazor. Okay, this one. Make sure you select the verified one and then install. And I accept it. Okay, should be fine now. And as the website, the next thing we need to do is to adding the imports here. We're adding the using import into the component import.razor. Put in here like this. Okay, nice. And then we need to add the reference, both of this one. Okay, you can copy from here and then go to the layout, not layout, but this one, application.razor. You can put above the head outlet is fine, like this. And then you also need to have JavaScript format Blazor here. You can copy and then paste below the Blazor web.js. And then let me scroll down. Register the service. Okay, the next thing we need to do to register the service, we go to the program.cs. We can do after we adding the DB context, builder service add mat services. I think we need to have a reference in here. Okay, using matblazor.services. And then the next thing we need to have is these three component in our main layout.razor. I just copy all. Okay. Then we go to the main layout. Just put above the page in here. Okay, I paste it. This one should no need. Okay, I think we need to have a reference. Yeah, why there is no reference? I think we already insert our matblazor here. Maybe I try to rebuild it. And then seems still having an issue. Make sure you already install the matblazor and then you already include matblazor in import.razor. And if this thing still exists, we can try to restart. Let's try to restart. I'm gonna restart Visual Studio. Okay, I have restarting the Visual Studio and now we have the reference. Yeah, sometimes Visual Studio like this. All you need to do is just restarting the IDE. And then what we need to have in here is we set to dark mode. Where is dark mode equal to true, and then we need to reference to our render mode. Render mode is interactive server, and copy all of this into the other. Okay, now the initialization of matblazor is complete, and we have a service to showing our data from database. We can just having a simple folder in here, name it as a services, and then add a new class with the name employee services service. Okay. Before we add anything in here, we add the injection into our program.cs. Builder services at scope is our employee service, just like this. So later we can use this in our UI. And what we will have in employee service, first we need to initialize the data access or the application DB context we have here. We can having a constructor for this, ctor and tab. Now I'm adding the application DB context, and create and assign field DB context. And then we will have a method for this, public asynchronous task list of employee view model. Okay, we're still not having this one yet, because instead of we showing directly the entities, it's better we have another class to represent our entities for our UI. I will let you know why we need to separate that later. So maybe we create this first. We have a new folder, view models, and then I copy all of this into our, where is it? Add class employee view model and paste in here. And any modification needed for our UI, instead of we updating the employee entities, we can updating our employee view model. Like example, we want to have a required in here. So later our UI will showing the full name is required in UI. Okay, we having a data annotation in here. Okay, I copy it and I want all of this is required except the employee ID. And then the employee ID is a auto increment integer. So instead of showing employee ID as 1, 2, 3, something like this, I want to showing the employee ID like a AMP0001 gitu example. But I don't want to store this value to database. I just want to show to user this employee ID. And what we can do is we can have another property string employee ID view, and then we don't need to set it because the set we need to have is only for employee ID. And then we can do like this. Okay, maybe I clean up a bit, and we can just return EMP plus employee ID to string, and the path left I type it maybe 4 lah. Okay, by this it will look like EMP0001, something like this. And this not affecting any of our database. And now we can back to our employee service and add the reference for this. And we can name it as a get all employees. And we can just return await db context employees, and then we order by maybe order by name, full name ascending, and then we need to mapping the data. What we get from the db context is a list of employee entity, and we need to convert it into list of employee view model. There is application that help us to doing this easily, like using AutoMapper. But instead of doing that, I want to do it manually. So what we can do is select new employee view model, and we map it one by one like this. Full name in employee view model equals to full name that exists in employee entity, department, what again, date of birth, ages, and phone number. I think I'm missing the important one is a employee ID. Now, as you see, the employee ID view, we don't need to set anything in here. The value of employee ID view is based on the employee ID in here. And then I just can have a tool list asynchronous. Now the function to getting the data from database is complete. We can just showing this data to our UI. And then I think I want to close all, but this one, where is it? Close other tab, and I pin it. First, let we modify our main layout. Okay, this one. Okay, I put below this, and let's have a container with math container. Okay, and then we have a div in here for class margin top 5. And then we showing our body. So we are not using a regular layout that provided by Blazor. I can remove it all. The next thing we need to have change to our home.razor. We are going to show list of employee in here. And what component in Blazor we're going to use is a data grid. We can go to the component data grid in here. Okay, you can use this as your reference. And then what I want to use in this tutorial is maybe okay, this one, server side filtering, sorting, and pagination. Is it correct? Yeah, I think it should be fine. So by default, Blazor helping us to having a search in here, the pagination, and also the sorting. And what we need to have is just using this all. I think for reference we can just copy all of this. And maybe I need to copy the code also. Okay, I copy all of this. Oh, you can just press here. and then I just paste below the page title like this, and then maybe I put the using above here, and then I'm not going to use this one and this one. The element we need to have here is a employee view model. This is the model that we are going to use in our data grid. Okay, employee view model, employee model, employee view model, employee. Check all of this, yeah. Okay, I think this one should be enough. I think we need also the reference. Okay, using the simple CRUD.view models. So now it's green out, and yeah, the error is gone. And then we need to change all of this property because it's different. Now, first we will showing the employee ID view. The title is employee ID, and I duplicate it, and I showing the full name, and department. This one should not need title because it's same department. Date of birth. This one is date time, yeah, and we need to have a specific format for this. Format day, month, and year. Okay, and the title should be date of birth, and then I remove it, the egg. Okay, and then phone number. And this one for element, we just need to have this. Okay, nice. Okay, now we go to the code here. What we need to inject first is our employee service. Okay, we don't need to this one. We need to inject employee service at the reference. Okay, employee service. I copy, and then when we try to get the data, we just call with employee service get all employees. Nice. Now in here, this is the filtering. What I want to filter in this tutorial is maybe employee ID and full name. Okay, if you want to add more, you can add by yourself. So what we need to have here, I think it's only 2, so I can remove this, and then I zoom out a bit. This one should be full name. Oh, no need employee ID view first. Okay, this one, and then full name. Okay, so it's basically whenever the element or a data in row employee ID view contains the set string, it will return true that and then showing the data. Same also the full name. And then here we are checking the total items. And in below, this is a sort function. And what we can have is a employee view model. This one employee ID view. Okay, so we sort employee ID view. And what again, a full name. We can sort a full name. But again, department, date of birth, age, and age. Okay, one more thing, yeah. I copy and paste below is a phone number and phone number. And this one a code for separating our data into multiple page size, yeah, or paging, we can say that. And you just return the employee view model in here. Okay, nice, should be fine. And then we need to have a render mode in here. Render mode is interactive server. And maybe this one we temporarily change it to employee management system. And then now we're able to start and view the result of our code. Nice, as we can see now we are able showing the data. This is list of data we have in database, and then it's sorted by ascending. of full name, and then we can sort it like this. Nice. Sort by employee ID also. Okay, nice. We also able to do paging in here, and we able to search the data. Example, I want to search Ari. Nice, we are able to do search also. Okay, good. Don't forget to commit your changes if you are also using a Git in here. I put here as a part 2 and commit all. So now let's take a rest and continue to the next part. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, hello everyone. In the previous video, we already complete the view list of employee from our database, and we are using a MathBlazer for our UI interface. And now in part 3, we are going to have a feature to create new employee and add it into the database. So for now, we can close it, and let's go to the employee service. In here, we will going to have another method, public, not void, maybe boolean create new employee view model, we name it. Let's wrap it on the try catch value, and then this one. Okay, for this simple tutorial, I just return false if any issue happening. Don't forget to close it, and maybe we can put this one in case there is any issue. But for your production application, it's better to have some logging information in here. So if you are having an exception, you can see what's actually happened in your system. But for now, I just leave as like this. And then first, what we need to have is we need to have employee entity, employee. Oh, this one should be model. Employee and new employee. So what we do in here, we map it from the view model into model in our entity. First, it's a full name, from model full name. Okay, nice. Department, date of birth, age, and phone number. Okay, thanks to Visual Studio for helping us auto complete that. We're not mapping the ID because ID is automatically created when we submit this data into database. And then what we have now is we need to db context employee is add. Okay, nice. And then we need to check the result. Var result equal to db context save changes. And if any changes in our database or successfully submitting this employee to database, it will return 1 because we only submit one data in our database right now. And then what I do is I will return true if the result is more than 0. So that means something added to database. If the result from database is 0, that means we're not inserting any data in our database. Okay, I think for inserting employee service is done. What we need to have now is an interface for submitting our employee. First, let's have a button in our home page. Home. Maybe for a title, better we use like this. Header 2 with class of text center. And then employee management system. And here in the toolbar of data grid content, we will have a button, math button. Okay, there is a class of margin n2. Okay, is margin right actually, but we call it margin n. It is bootstrap component, I think. And then on click, we will have a
new method for this, create new user. Okay, this one with add on click, and then we have an icon for this. We can call it icons, material, field, and person add. Okay, we select the alternative one in here. And for variant, we will have a variant of field. There is a multiple variant. Format button. Okay, maybe I clean up a bit. Okay, nice. And now the color for this button is primary, color primary. Okay, nice. And then have text inside this one. Maybe add new employee. No, with capital. New employee. Okay, we have a button for adding our new user, and let's have a function for this. But first, let we inject dialog service, dialog, maybe with capital, dialog service. This one is like a bootstrap model, pop up, yeah, something like that. And this is a MathBlazer component. And let's we have a function. I think we can minimize this. Okay, this comment we don't need anymore, and we will have this one, private asynchronous task. What we name, yeah, create new user. Okay, in order to using MathBlazer dialog, we need to have another Razor component to show inside our dialog. So let's have a temporary empty Razor component. We name it as create or update user, not user, employee, and enter. Okay, just leave as it is. Loading a moment, and home. And now what we do in here, okay, we have options, new dialog options. We set the max width to max width large. Okay, this is optional, but I prefer large view. And then var dialog is await dialog service, and then we show asynchronous. What we have here, create or update employee with the title. This one is add employee, and then we insert the options. Now to getting the result of our dialog, for result of await dialog result. Okay, so later on when we complete saving change in our dialog, we will getting the return in here something like true, or yeah, actually it's true lah. And when the status is true, we will refresh our data grid in here, so we will see the newest data. And how to check that is a var if result is not null, and result is not cancelled. Cancelled mean we there's a X button or cancel button in dialog. So if we do that, we don't need to refresh our data grid. Okay, so if we complete, then we data grid, reload server data, and I think we can minimize like this. Next, we will build our create or update employee page in here. First, let we adding a dependency in here, inject snack bar. Okay, snack bar is like an toast or alert, something like that. Later you will see. And then we also need to inject the employee service. Okay, employee service. Now we will need a form in here, so we can use Blazor edit form model. It's come from model. Later we define it, and on valid submit is on valid submit. Close it. Okay, maybe we create this so no red, something like that. code. Okay, the model come from property employee view model. Okay, this one we can name it as a model. We can define the new employee view model. Okay, should be fine now. Now we need to have a function private asynchronous task of onValid submit. Okay, now should be fine, but maybe we need to add the edit context in here. Okay, nice. And now let's design our math dialog. Math dialog. We have a dialog content. Where is the dialog content? We will have data annotation validator. Close it. This is required for our data annotation function. So example, when the full name is empty, we will showing full name is required, something like that. And then we will have a math grid, and then we will have a math item. This one we will set as a access. This one we will set as a extra small of 9, and then we will have a text field in here, math text field with the variant. Where is it? Variant of variant. Why it's not autocomplete? Yeah, variant variant of outline it. Wait a minute, why is error? Maybe I try to define math text field. Oh, I think it is because the model we need to bind value of our model. Is it model dot full name? Why still error? I think just keep it like this lah. And then for add okay, model dot full name. Now suddenly it's gone. Okay, so you need to define all of this with the string label. This is for the beautify our UI. Okay, and the next math item. Okay, this one is access 3. This is like a call in Bootstrap, something like that, column in Bootstrap. And I just copy lah and paste here. Okay, and what we have here is for age. Okay, and then we will have another field for math date picker, and we will have a variant of variant outline also. We always using this variant. And let having a label for this is date of birth, and then we need to bind a date. Now for this one we cannot directly assign the model value. It's not recommended if we see, so we need to have another like a property for this. Property datetime no label for date. Okay, clean up a bit date, and then we define date time today, and then we will have again, and then we will have for a math text field on department. I copy and paste here. Department, why it's not autocomplete? Department, and then one more thing for phone number. Phone number. For this we need to having a margin bottom MB to 5, so there is have a spacing between this class. Okay, this one is no need. And then for the dialog actions, this is a button below the dialog. We will have two button, mat button, not mat icon, mat button. Where is it? Mat button. On click, we have a cancel. I just put cancel and then duplicate it. This one is for submit, so we can set like a button type is submit, and then set color to, where is it? Primary. We can name it as save, and we need to define this cancel. This is just simple private void cancel. Okay, but we need to getting the dialog instance. Okay, for this one, so when we click cancel, we will close this mat dialog. How to get that is by this one, cascading parameter, private mat dialog instance, mat dialog get set, and then we can just set mat dialog to cancel. Nice. Okay, the UI is done. Now we will need to calling our service to submit the data inside. Okay, first, if you see, like, the date is not included in the model, so we need to set it. If date is not null, we'll set, where is it? Model date of birth equal to date value. Okay, and then we can just call the, where is it? And we can get the var result of employee service, create new employee, and then we can provide the model we have in here. And then if result is true, okay, this is boolean, so if true, then it means created successfully, and we will have a snack bar at, where is it, at, why it's not having a snack bar at, okay, let me see, snack bar, okay, string, why it's not like this, add, let me try, I just edit success, temporary, and variant, not variant, but the severity of success. Oh, I wrong lah. It should be not snack bar, but I snack bar. Okay, sorry. And now it should be fine. Maybe let improve this. Successfully create the employee. And then we can close our dialog. Mat dialog close. And if a result is false, then we will showing another snack bar. This one is error, and then violet create the employee. Okay, now let's see the result. We can start it, and now we're able to see the new button in here to add new employee. Okay, and we have a new interface for this. I try Alvin Maulana 21. Okay, the date is, yeah, just whatever. And then admin, and oh, we don't have a label for this, yeah. Okay, I minimize. I think I missed the label. This one also we don't have a label. Up also. Okay, we need to have a label. This one is full name. This one is label is age. Label for phone number, and label for department. Okay, save it, and we can hold reload and try see. Okay, code change. Let me see again. And I add, let's input it, Alvin 21, yeah, random, department admin, port number 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then let's save it. Nice, now user successfully created. And if we try to search, okay, I'm able to see the value. And nice, it's complete for this part 3. For the next part, we are going to have feature for updating the employee and deleting the employee. And we still will use the same dialog, but only changing the functional. So we no need to develop another restore component. Okay, don't forget to commit the change. I close it and save it. This one should be on part 3. Let's check again. Okay, nice, correct. Part 3 and commit. Now we have our checkpoint and take rest, and see you on the next part. Hello everyone, welcome back. In previous video, we already showing our data from database and able to have a dialog to adding our new employee. The next thing we will do in this part 4, we will having a feature to update the employee and also deleting the employee. So let's start it. We can close it. And now we start from our service. We can minimize these two. First, we will have a feature to find the employee by ID. Public employee view model, find employee, and we will search by employee ID. Okay, var employee equals to db context. Okay, nice. Employees first or default, and maybe no need, but just find. And in this case, employee ID. Okay, this one we will try to search employee data in our employee table, which employee ID is this one. Okay, if the employee is null, what we will do is we will just return null. Return null. Okay, we also set like this, so it means it's a nullable. We can return null and return the employee view model. And the next thing we'll define a employee view model. It's a result new employee view model, and we set the employee ID equals to employee ID. Oh no, but employee ID, and then full name. Okay, nice. We can autocomplete. Oh, not again. Date of birth. Okay, age. Okay, port number. Okay, nice. And then we can just return the result. So we already converted into employee view model. The next method we will have is updating the employee. So let's just public boolean of update employee. Okay, we will accept the employee view model. Okay, I clean up a bit. Okay, we're still doing the same in there. For this one, we need to get for model employee ID. And then we return false if the employee is null. Maybe it's better we wrap it under try catch exception, and then we return false if any exception happen. And then we can modify like this, employee full name. It's come from model full name. We pass from our parameter. Okay, same. Date of birth, employee date of birth. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. It's autocomplete. And then we can do a var result db context save changes, and then like we do in the create this one. Okay, we return true if any changes in our database. Return result equals to more than 0. If more than 0, it means there is a data change in our database. Okay, update database is complete. Now we have a delete function. Public boolean delete employee. Okay, we can use this. Again, we can search first for employee, db context, employees, find employee ID, and if employee null, we return false, and if not null, we're going to db context, employee, and remove employee. And we also need to do the same like above. I think we can just copy lah. Okay, nice. Maybe we're also able to wrap it under predicates. So if any exception happen, we can return as false. Alright, all three service is complete. Not three service lah, three function in service. The next thing we will do is updating our UI. So we can close it. And then we go to the component pages. Let's start with the home first. We will having a button inside our data grid in here. And in. So how to do it? We just having a template column, cell class we set as a flex, and we justify n, and we need to have a cell template, and in here we will adding our button, mat button. We having a class for margin n2. This is a margin right, and then we can set the size to size of small. The variant is a field, and then we will have an icon, start icon to icon, material, field, edit, edit, and set the color to color warning. And don't forget to add on click function. On click, we will have like this. Okay, this update employee, and insert the context. No, just context like this. Update employee, and close the button and put the text in here to update. Nice. And then we have another button for delete, but in this case we don't need to have a margin right, and then the icon is delete. What is delete icon? And this one should be remove employee, and change to remove. Now let's define this bot function. We go to the bottom, minimize it, and then just define empty method for this, yeah. Private asynchronous task update employee. Okay, this one cell context with the employee view model as value. Employee. Okay. And the next we will have a remove employee. Why is error? Okay, nice. Now we have just need to implement this function. Okay, first we are going to use same Razor component for our update. So better we update first this one, because it's only available for insert. We not define it's also able for update. So let's have an enumerator. Maybe we just insert into new folder, enum class UI action enum. Change it to enumerator, and we have insert and update. Okay, I will tell you about this later. What is this for? So on this one, we will have a parameter of property UI action enum, nice, and action. By default, what we do in here is a action enum insert. And then this one should be a parameter also. Parameter, because we will define this when we try to show current user, current employee, I mean. And also this one we set as a parameter. Move it top. Okay. And we need to have another function, private void create employee, and we will move this into create employee. So if the action is what is it, UI action enum insert, we will call this create employee. But if, where is it, but else, yeah, if action equal to UI action enum update, we are going to have another method to update employee. No, update employee. And we need to define also update employee. I just copy from create employee, because basically it's same, just need to change like this, update employee, calling the employee service for update employee, and change the alert, successfully update the employee. And then there is thing we need to modify on our create new user, because previously we not having this parameter action date model, so we need to define it also on here. For parameters, new dialog parameters, this is for create or update employee. So we'll have an array of what is it, X action. We will set the value to insert. Okay, I don't want this long, just adding the reference, and then duplicate it. And for model, okay, I need comma here. Model, why there is no autocomplete? Model, it just empty employee view model. And then we need to assign this value when we try to showing the dialog. And then I think we can copy it to update employee. But first we need to searching the employee from database for employee view, maybe employee service, find employee. Okay. And search item employee ID. Okay, if employee view is null, we will having a snack bar at, do we have a snack bar? Oh, we don't have we need to inject first. Snack bar. Something wrong when try find the employee, or you can set that employee not found, it's fine. Oh, we forgot to add the severity to error, and we can return it. And if employee is not null, okay, we can pass it into here, employee view, and this one should be update. And also the date, where is it? Date, okay, it's come from employee view dot date of birth, because it's not on model binding, so we need to binding manually. This one we will change to update employee. This is a dialog title, and the other seems good lah. We don't need to change. Okay. Now update employee is complete. The next thing we will do is removing the employee. And then before we deleting or removing the employee, we want to have like a dialog for confirm to us. Are we sure want to remove the employee or no? So by that we need to have another dialog for that. So just create another dialog in pages is fine. We can new Razor component alert remove dialog confirmation. Better remove confirmation dialog. Okay. We will have a math dialog with the dialog content. We will have a math text in here. Do you really want to delete this? Not this, this record. This process cannot be undone. And then there is an action if we want to confirm yes or no. Math button. There is a math button. On click is cancel. To cancel, later we define it. Cancel. And then another button. This one is submit. And with color error to make it red. And the variant is a variant field. This one should be delete. Maybe confirm delete lah. Okay. Now we will have a code. First we need to get the dialog, cascading parameter, private math dialog instance, math dialog, get set. Okay, later this one to be used for closing the dialog. So it's just simple, a private void submit math dialog close. Okay, and then we have a result. Dialog result is okay, true. And then for cancel we just math dialog cancel. Seems there is error. Okay, this one confirm delete, and this one need to be closed. And why still error? Okay, nice, there is no error again. And now we can call this dialog whenever we want to delete the employee. We go to the home, the Trezor, and then var dialog dialog service show asynchronous. What is remove confirmation dialog, and then we set remove employee. What is it? Employee item full name. Okay, later we will show on the title we want to remove this employee, and then we get the result from dialog. Wait, dialog result. If result is not null, okay, we can do like above, not null, and result cancelled is not cancelled. We can get the data again var conformed to boolean result data, or if data is null it means a false. Data is what we return in here, that we returning a true. So if confirm, we will call the delete result employee service remove. What is it? Delete. Oh, delete employee. Employee item. What ya? Employee ID. And then delete result. If success, it will showing the snack bar at successfully remove the employee with the variant of what ya? Not variant, severity of success. And then we directly data grid reload the data grid. Else we just showing that we violate remove the employee. Okay, clean up a bit and let's see. Okay, for the color of remove we need to set as a error. This one is orange and this one is red. Okay, I have compiled it and I found another issue. This one, the issue is okay, this one, it should be with capital V, value, and value. And let's see when we start it. Okay, let we update the first value in here. Update. We're able to see the value, the name, department, all the value, and I try to update and I save it. Nice. I will do update it. And if we try to delete it, maybe I try to search Alvin and I want to delete it. Okay, we can see the dialog. I delete it. Nice. We're not able to see it again. And gone. Okay, so now for this part is complete. Don't forget to commit your changes. Part 5. Again, I forgot what part we are. Part 4. Commit. And then for the next part, we are going to have importing data from Excel and exporting to Excel. Hello everyone, we're back again. Now in the last part of this series, we already complete the view data, add new employee, and then updating the employee, and also deleting. And now remain the import and export the data from Excel. But first, I think I want to expand this view a bit. We can do that by I minimize it, and then we can go to the home, not home, but layout here. And in here in our math container, we can set the max width to math width, not math width, but max width to extra large. And then hold reload it. Okay, now when we see, we can see the full view like this. It's more proper. Okay, now let's start having a import and export from Excel feature. We can start by installing the required package. We can install, where is it? Closed XML. Okay, this one, the verified one. We can install it. Accept. And we will need other extension. If core bulk, where is it? Bulk extension. Okay, this one. And install it. Okay, now should be fine. I can close it. And first, maybe we have a service for doing import and export things. And first start with the import. We go to the bottom and then public asynchronous task boolean. This one import employee. And in here we are not accepting the file. Later our home.razor that's processing the file upload, but we only receive the list of employee view models in here from our UI. Employees. And then what we need to do in here, we need to wrap it into try catch exception and return false if any exception happen. And then we will have a new employee. This one is for submitting the data to database. To DB new list employee. And then for each employee in employees, we will define the new class employee, EMP we can name it, and then new employee, and in here we can define the full name. Okay, yeah, like usual, it should be autocomplete. Nice. Only these 3. Oh, these 5 I mean. And then to database we add the EMP, and we are going to use entity framework book insert because we are going to inserting multiple record to our database. So we can just call it like this: await DB context bulk insert asynchronous and then to DB. Okay, should be fine, and we return true for this. Okay, now we continue to the export. We can just create public asynchronous task. This one will return byte, and then we have name export to Excel. First, we need to get all of our employee. For data is equal to list, not await list all, not list all, what we name it? Get all employees. We'll calling that method, and then we are going to use closed XML we installed before using var workbook as a new XL workbook. Where is it? Work. Okay. Workbook. Okay, this one. This is to defining a new workbook or Excel file, and then we will have a sheet in here, a new sheet, var worksheet. We name it worksheets, and that we name it as employee. And then for header, we define manually in here headers work sheet on the cell number 1 and the column cell number 1. Yeah, what we said, the row number 1 and column number 1. The value is a employee ID, and I think I can duplicate it. 1 2 3 4 5 2 3 4 5 6. This one should be full name, department, date of birth, age, and phone number. Okay, this one for header we define manually, and this is on the row 1 on the Excel file. And then on the data we have in database, we will showing from the row 2 until all the data is complete. So for I equals to 0 and I equals to no datas count. Okay, what we do in here, we will have a worksheet cell. Okay, so this one is 0, and then we want to insert to row number 2, so we can just having like a I plus 2, it means a 0 plus 2, and then the column is still 1, and this one should be datas I what's employee ID view. and then I duplicate it. Not sure how much, 6, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one should be full name, department, date of birth, age, and phone number. And then we return it as a byte. What we do is we are using a stream in here, var stream equals to new memory stream, and then workbook save as stream, and then we return stream. Where is it? Stream. Okay, to array. Okay, correct. Okay, nice. It's complete. Using, oh, I missed one more. What is this? A semicolon there? I'm not sure. Bracket, I mean. Okay, nice. Now we need to update our UI function. So I can go to this one can close and go to the home resort. And then let's having a new button for uploading the Excel file and exporting the Excel file. Okay, what we have here is a math file upload. We giving the class of margin n2, and then the type is a iBrowser file, and then with reference to Excel upload, and then we will have a file change to upload file. This is a new function. It's okay if error, and then close it. And we need to have a activator content, and in here we will have a button to trigger our file upload. What button? Variant is a variant field. The color should be color success, and we will have an icon in here. It's come from the icons custom file formats Excel. Okay, and then we close the button and have the name import Excel, and then we will having another button. Just copy it, and no need lah. We can just copy from this one the button, and then for this we will have a on click export to Excel, and variant same. The color should be info. The icon is same, and then this one should be export Excel. Now we need to define this required in our code. We will have a math file upload, iBrowser file, Excel upload. Okay, we correct. Okay, nice. Now we need to have this both function, private asynchronous task upload file, accepting the iBrowser file is fine, and then we need to have another private asynchronous task of our export to Excel. Close it. Okay, private asynchronous. Okay, nice. Now we need to implement it. And what we do in this upload file function, we actually upload file, and then we will showing the data from the Excel into the dialog and the grid inside, so we can verify again the data what we want to insert, and after that we can do calling the import function. First, let me check if the file is null, and then return if the file is null, just do nothing and return it. And then we will go to the having try catch again, and we don't need to do anything in the catch for now. And then we are going to copy a memory stream to read a file. We will have not this one, using var stream equals to a new memory stream, and then await. What is this? Var stream. Okay, await file, open read stream. Okay, we read, open the stream for reading the uploaded file in here, and then we will copy to asynchronous, the stream that we define above, and then we reset the stream position to stream positions to 0, and then we can use the close XML to load the Excel file from this stream. What we do is we can just using var workbook, a new Excel workbook. Okay, need to add the closed xml.excel, and then this one should be from stream. And then we will getting the first sheet only, workbook worksheet. This one worksheets first. We only read the first sheet, and then we will getting all the rows except the first one, because that should be a header. So we will have a var rows worksheet row used, and then we will skip the number 1, because that is should be a header. And then we need to define the list employee view model, employees, new list employee view model. And then every time we read the data from the Excel, we will store it into this list. So for each var row, maybe in rows, we will have our employee view model, emp new. Okay, employee view model, that's fine. The full name we get from the row, cell number 1, and then value we convert it to string. Okay, and this one should be like this, just comma, and then maybe I just copy until this one, and then department I paste again, date of birth paste again, age paste again, and phone number I paste again. This one should be cell number 2, this one should be cell number 3, but we just using the value because this is a date time. And then this cell number 4, and we only need the value, I think, because age should be integer. Oh no, we cannot do that, but instead we need to wrap it under integer parse. Okay, we parse this string into integer, and then the last is a phone number. Okay, we will have this one. Now we will have to insert this one, employees at employee view model, and then we will showing this list employee view model to our new dialog. We still not creating yet, but that's okay. So var parameters, new dialog parameters of import dialog. We don't have yet, that's okay. and then X equals to X employees, and then come from not employees, not like this but like this. And then we will have an options to new dialog options, and then we set the max width into a max width large, and then we show the dialog with dialog service show asynchronous import dialog. Where is it? We name it the title as a ready to import, and then pass the parameters and options, and then we get the result from the await dialog result. No. Result. Okay, nice. So if result is not null and result is not cancelled, that means should be fine, and we will refresh our data grid. What is this data grid? Data grid, oh, it's correct. Reload. Okay, server data. Nice. Now let's define the import dialog. We'll have new Razor component in here. It's a import dialog, and then what we will have here is injecting the employee service, and then injecting the snack bar. Snack bar, is it correct? Okay, snack bar. Now we'll have a math dialog. The content is a dialog content. We will have a math data grid. I think we can just showing what we show in this one. Is it okay? I just copy it and then paste it into here. There is several things we need to modify, like toolbar content. I don't think we need it, so I remove it. This one reference should be no need. Okay, this one should be no need. First label is false. The items, it's come from employees. Later we define it. Sort mode, we will disable it. Sort mode none, and then groupable is none also. Okay, maybe we define this one. Parameter property list employee view model. Where is it? Okay, this one employees, and then we will have a new list employee view model as initialization. Okay, this one we no need, and then we will not having the employee ID because it will be achieved when we submitting data to database. But maybe we will have a button to deleting the data in grid in case we uploading the Excel file but we don't want to include the specific data. So we'll have a template column, cell class, deflex of justify n, then cell template, math button size is a size small, and then the variant is a variant field, and on click we will have a add Okay, open this one. What is it? Okay, remove employee with context. Okay, context should like this. That's okay, error. And then we'll have an icon. I think I put it down first. Start icon, it's come from icons, material, field, and delete. And the color is a color error. Okay, nice. Maybe just put text as a remove. And now we need to define remove. Okay. And now we need to define the remove employee private asynchronous task of remove employee cell context employee view model and then employee. We just remove the employees when it to contain the employee item. Then state has changed. And then we also need to have a function to import and cancel the dialog. So we'll have on here dialog actions. We'll have two buttons in here, mat button, on click, cancel, and then duplicate it. This one is import and coming from on click, submit, and then color primary, and then the variant is a field. Okay, nice. And then we need to define this both function. First, we need to have a cascading parameter of mat dialog, private mat dialog, mat dialog instance. Okay, this one, mat dialog get set. And we will have a function to private asynchronous task of submit, and then private asynchronous, no need lah, just void cancel, and then this just a simple mat dialog, where is it, dialog mat dialog cancel only, cancel. And yeah, we need to implement the submit in here. So we will calling the employee service for submitting. File result is a await employee service, import employees, and then if result is success or true, we are returning the snack bar at the successfully import employee, the employee with severity success. And then if false, else we just showing a filet import the employee. And then I will close the dialog, mat dialog close. Where is it? Close. Okay, but maybe this one should be better in here. And then we only return dialog result. Okay, true whenever we successfully import the employee. I think it should be fine. Maybe we test it first, yeah, for the import employee, and then you should having this Excel template like we define. Where is it? In here. based on the header. Oh, no, this one is export, but home. Okay, this one, upload file. So the first one is a full name, department, date of birth, age, and phone number. It should be on row number 1, and then your data should be on the row after 1 is 2 until any number of you want to. So let's start and see. Okay, now the button is exists. We can just try import Excel. Okay, this is the Excel template I create. Nice. Now I able to see the list of data that I assign in my Excel file, and then you can remove it. I only have one sample. That's why if we remove it, we should not having any data. Maybe for the template I put more than one because there is a delete function and I want to try remove that. Formula 2, Formula 3. Okay, save it. And then I try to import the Excel. Nice. Now I see all the data I assign in my Excel file. And if I try to remove, okay, now I able to see. And if I try to import, I able to see the data now. Nice. But this one, let me close it. This should be, we do something in here. Okay, after all this one is complete, let's wait Excel upload, and then we will clear the data, whatever data we upload. So by this we can upload multiple times with no issue. And now should be fine for uploading the file. And the next step is to export the Excel. For this one, we will need to help by the JavaScript. So we will have this script function. Okay, I just passed it in here on our application.razor. We're not talking much about the JavaScript, but basically what we do is we can download the file, the Excel file from the bytes in here. So like this, we converting the bytes into Excel type format, and then this is a block, and we will have a demo, or not demo, a temporary element is a ref, or if you familiar with a ref, something like this. So it's basically creating a temporary component for this, so we can inject the blob that we have in here, and then simulating. It's like a simulating the link, clicking the link button. So when we click the link, we're able to download the Excel file. Okay, and then I go to the home, and what we have here is a var Excel bytes. It's come from await employee service export to Excel. We get the bytes. Now we need to inject JavaScript. Inject JS runtime. JS, okay. This one is await JS invoke void asynchronous is fine, and then you put the name of this method, and then this is the name of a Excel file, list employees xlxx, and then the Excel bytes. Now let's try, and I'm getting the error. Okay, for that I inject wrong. It should be IJS runtime, and I try again. And if you try to click this one, nice. Now we're able to see list employees. I try to click. Okay, this is my file before. Okay, nice. We're able to complete the export the data from the data grid to Excel file. Okay, maybe there is a minor change we need to have here is whenever we try to click import Excel, this should be having a loading indicator. And yeah, let's we try to edit also for export Excel. What we need to have is where is it? This one, bool importing is false, bool exporting is false. And then where is it? Where my button? Okay, this one. On the activator content on file upload, if importing, we will showing the math progress circular class margin with N1, and then the size, we can set size to small, and then indeterminate is true. And then we will showing the math text. Where is it? Math text with the class of a margin start of 2 processing. Else, if not importing, we show the actual import Excel. Okay, so I was wrong. Import Excel. Okay, this should be wrapped with the math text. This one should be under the math button. Where is it? Okay, this one. Nice. Should be like this. And we are do the same for exporting. Yeah, this one, export Excel. I copy, paste here, exporting. This one, export Excel. And then we will disable the button. When it's importing, and also we disable the export when exporting. And of course we need to set the value of importing and exporting. So whenever we start upload file, we set the importing to true, and then when finish, we set importing to false. Same thing happen when we do exporting. Exporting to true and exporting to false. And yeah, let's try ya. And I try to export the Excel. Okay, it's too fast lah. I cannot see the delay. Yeah, it's too fast. Maybe if we export more files, we can able to see the loading indicator. But for import Excel, and then we Excel template. Okay, we select this one. Oh, nice. We're able to see the loading is started. Okay, now all the feature is already complete. We're able to do CRUD, we're able to import the Excel and export the Excel. So by this series is complete. So thank you for all to watching. And then if you need the source code of this project, you can see on description. You can support me for a $5 and then you able to download it. Any issue you can asking me on the comment. And yeah, have a great day. Thank you and stay tuned to this channel.